Hello everyone, this is the Prussian Prince with our Chaos Riders Tournament match cast. This is the round of 16 match between Warehamus of DKS clan and Oleg Vadimovich. This is the first round of 16 match on my channel. And I think it's potentially gonna go well. I definitely think Oleg is favored in this one. I can't see him losing here, but then again, upsets have happened before and can definitely happen, but still, I expect my personal prediction would be 3-1 Oleg if I saw these two players, I suppose. Now, Warehamus, the games I've seen of him, he can be unpredictable sometimes, but anyway, let's go over the build of Oleg Vadimovich. So we see his general here, Isami Kondo. Gun general, no gunbate though, not leveled up far enough. Now for Cav Force, we have looks like 2 Saber Cav, an Imperial Guard Cav, and 3 Yariki over here. The rest of his force is 4 Red Bears, a Vermilion, 150 range Shogunate Guard Infantry. Interesting that it's not a Marine though. And another one, no, actually, what? Oh no, this is just a Vet 1 Shogunate Guard Infantry with suppression fire. This one is much more upgraded, but honestly, I don't think this is an effective unit. Or actually, oh, this is interesting. So using this unit because it has taken damage, right? So it's 106 men, so it is a special tactic from his point, I suppose, because that makes the unit much cheaper. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it. I think one should rather just bring the proper unit, right? Anyway, for the rest of his forces, 2 White Bears in the back. Forgot about the dojos again. Rivertown, so only 2 dojos. We see Workshop and Sword Dojo right here. Now for the build of his opponent, Warehamus. We do see Command Gun General, apparently. Mostly Command. Then we see lots of melee units. But still some Cav, Revolver Cav here, Yariki rank 6. Apparently no defense upgrades for rank 6, that is unusual, for sure. Melee-wise, we see a total of, well, how many Yarikachis? Looks like 4 Yarikachis, 3 are vanilla, 1 is rank 5. Then we also see some Shogitai, 3 of them on the field, and some lines. So Shinsengumis, apparently, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he really wants the melee advantage, because he brought Shinsengumis, he brought Yarikachis, and he brought Shogitai. So, we'll see how this ends up playing out for Warehamus. But, with Oleg bringing the Imperial Guard Cavalry, oops, sorry about that, I tabbed out. With Oleg bringing the Imperial Guard Cavalry, this changes everything. Because the Imperial Guard Cavalry will be so good at against Warehamus's build here, as you can see. Against all these melee units, the Imperial Guard Cavalry will do so much damage. And the Saber Cav choice is also a good one for Oleg. So perhaps he saw the replays, or he's seen some games before of Warehamus and knows that he can potentially bring melee rushes. Because Warehamus does bring builds that allow him to rush, so to speak. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit because it doesn't seem like much is happening, but Oleg is doing the right thing here. He doesn't want to go on this hill, so he's kiting with his units away. He is not going to take the engagement here. This is very, very smart of him. He should not take any engagement here, but looks like he's going to finally stop pulling back here. He might have been able to pull back behind here because this would have been even better. That would mean Warehamus would have to attack with his melee units over the river here, but then he'd give up the forest, so that's also a potential thing he might not want to do. But the engagement has started. Saber Cav going straight into Shogitai, and these Yarikachis here in Shogitai are taking significant damage while they're actually charging in, but this unit didn't actually fire yet. Actually did 34 kills, but the Shogitai is gonna catch both the Shogunate Guard Infantry and the Red Bear here. The Shogunate Guard Infantry is not long for this world because the Shinsengumi is going to get rid of it. Position here is much better for Warehamus, but he's already losing some of his melee units, so we'll see how this is going to play out. Saber Cav here connecting with Shinsengumis, but again, it's Shinsengumis. These guys won't die so quickly. Oleg is setting up a Vermilion here, and he has this other Shogunate Guard infantry behind here. But as you can see, the melee lines of Warehamus are losing steam here because they're getting shot at by multiple lines here. And yeah, these red bears here are gonna hold out quite well. This unit isn't really firing because it doesn't have that much line of sight. Yeah, these units here won't live. So right now, pretty good engagement for Oleg, I should say. But on this side, he has to be careful because Warehamus can really push him over there. Once these two units are gone here, Oleg can really push his advantage on this side. But he's making a mistake here with the Shogunate Guard infantry. It's pushing up so far. But if he routs these two units, it'll be fine, and he may be able to. But looks like they're actually going to connect with the Shogunate Guard infantry, which is not what he wants to happen. But here you can see Shinsengumi is getting targeted by red bears. This Yarikachi is going to take so much damage. General of Oleg killing 41 men. And where's the Imperial Guard cavalry? Looks like there it is. It's going to target the revolver cap of Warehamus apparently. So it's going to go up real far. But Saber Cap here is fighting the Yariki. And that's a lot of men in the Saber Cap, so it might end up winning anyway. But it's a Yariki, so it's really, really strong. It's rank 6 Yariki against Saber Cap. So that's going to be a close one. But here, Oleg's got a really nice position. He's making sure that he targets down these Shinsengumis, but it's Shinsengumis. And Workshop has been captured by Warehamus as well. Looks like that Imperial Guard cavalry of Oleg has been destroyed. And Warehamus is focusing these units down with the Shinsengumi. So all of a sudden, it's not that much in favor of Oleg anymore. But he certainly still has the tools. Sabercap is engaging the general of Warehamus. But if there's one thing that... Whoa, sorry about it. If there's one thing that Oleg needs to be careful of, it's this revolver cavalry. Because this revolver cavalry can potentially do so much damage. Here comes the Shinsengumi though. And this unit isn't going to do very well. Because it's already getting shot at by Oleg's general. And it's going to get shot at by this Shogunate Guard infantry as well. If it moves up like that. I believe Oleg should try to use his gun gen to focus the revolver cavalry down. That would be a good move. Warehamus needs to move his general into the fray as well. But now Oleg is winning the line fight here, which is really, really good for him. Revolver Cap is still chasing the general of Oleg here. And now Oleg should be turning around this line infantry unit, which could save his general and kill the Revolver Cap. But he's going to have to be really careful here. And there we go. Oleg's going to turn around, focus on the Revolver Cavalry as the Revolver Cavalry goes to hit this red bear. And yes, it's going to be able to kill the red bear, but now it's going to die in turn because it's not going to be able to take on a white bear general and all these units here as well. So could be a hero unit, but wasn't this. If this unit came a bit earlier while these line units were still engaged, indeed Warehamus could have done something, but he was unable to. So it was just lines against Revolver Cav, and you don't want that to happen. Revolver Cav trades in general trades pretty poorly against lines unless it's coming in from a really good angle. Now here we see Warehamus charging into the white bears here with his general, her heroic last stand. So yeah, I really like Warehamus's builds just because they're like something else which actually has a shot at winning as well. Because he has such melee power with his builds. It's insane. Even his lines can take like cav charges and such pretty well. Because it's Shinsengumis. However, they are expensive, so one has to keep that in mind for sure. Looks like these Yarikachis are actually charging in, but they're not going to do too well here. They have like 200 kills and the Shinsengumi as well, but they're soon going to end up dead. Look at these red bears cutting down the last few Shinsengumis and Yarikachis. So that is going to be the game. Let's take a look at statistics. But that was a relatively close game, honestly. If Warehamus had timed his attack a little bit differently, I could definitely have seen him winning this game. But yeah, it was not meant to be for him, so the loss, he had to take a loss, but it's still a pretty good first game, honestly. Let's see the stats. Yeah, these lines of Oleg got a lot of kills, and they had to. They really had to, because Warehamus deployed more men. And Warehamus, look at these Yarikachis, wow, nearly 200 kills. They were the vanilla ones as well. The rank 5 ones didn't do so well at all. But that was game 1, so we'll see how game 2 goes. Here we have game 2 on our Ridge Pass. Now, it could be a long one on this one, or a very fast game as well, because we could have both players each setting up on a ridge and just sitting there and watching each other for like half an hour. Or you could actually have somebody flanking the other person and like them engaging in the center. Could be one thing. And apparently it's another spectator replay because I cannot pause, so I have to go over the builds really quickly. First we start with the dojos, farmhouse, and workshop. Now for Warehamus we see the command gun gen, hierarchy rank 1, and looks like very similar build, I guess. So it looks like 2 red bears, a black tortoise, white bear, another black tortoise, so 2 of them, and 2 more red bears. No Shinsengumis this time around. For the melee line we see 1, 2, 3, 4 Yarikachis and 1, 2, 3 Shogitai. So I like this composition. It's pretty cool, actually. It's like 7. He has 7 lines, and he has plenty of melee power as well. So I could see it potentially working, this build. But anyway, for the build of, but the one problem that Warehamus has with this build is the lack of cavalry. Anyway, for Oleg, we see gun gen, cav-wise. 2 saber cav, make that 4 saber cav. Wow, so I guess he adapted after our last game, after seeing all those melee units, I suppose. And 2 red bears on the right. Shogun infantry, okay, 2 of them. And another red bear here, so that makes 3 red bears, a revolver, and another red bear, so 4 red bears, I guess. But this position for Oleg is actually a bit weird, if you think about it. But it's not the worst, because he can still fire with these marines here. But he's like really strange position though, with these marines. But it kind of makes sense, because he can fire with these 2 units on this side, and he can fire with this one here, but still, it's very strange, but looks like it's working. With the suppression fire, he's routed both the Yarikachi and the Shogitai here, giving him a really good early game advantage. And he's got his saber cav into a red bear and a Shogitai, so this saber cav is really paying for itself. Now it looks like he's gonna push forward his revolver cav. This is risky here, because he's gonna possibly break this black tortoise, but this is not worth it. Look at his revolver cav. Definitely not worth it there. And now he's unable to defend his general. Well, he has a saber cav, but still he could have defended it much more efficiently. Now on this side, you can see that Oleg is still shooting at all of these Shogitai and other units here. Over here, his red bear is munching up all those units. Nice Shogunate infantry volley here, actually. Shogunate infantry will smash all of these black tortoise and red bears. Now for the rest of the engagement, you can see Oleg's got his saber cav here, which means the Yarikachi is engaged on the side. And the saber cav isn't losing as many men as normal, and we can see really good line of sight on Oleg's units here. So this is a pretty good engagement with the saber cav. Doesn't lose as many men as it normally would. Looks like there's an engagement here. Yariki will trade efficiently against saber cav, but there's not that many of them. Now here, Warehamus is doing a really weird thing with his red bears. I guess he had a bug with the movement, which I have sometimes as well. Here he's making a massive mistake with this attack order on the US Marines. These guys, and these guys too here, they're like doing strange things for sure. And on this side he's losing as well. He didn't break the US Marines, he didn't break the Royal Marines. So 2 150 range units for Oleg on the field, and these guys will just crush Warehamus really, because Warehamus has no tools anymore to deal with them. Now this unit here, I don't quite know what it's doing. It should be repositioning, but that doesn't matter so much, because this US Marine is moving up and it's going to be able to get rid of all the units. Huh, looks like the general of Oleg actually engaged the Yariki in melee and got rid of it. Royal Marines here still on the field. Shogitai defeated. These Red Bears will not do very well. This engagement here, just look at these Yarikachis in melee against the Shogunate infantry. I suppose Oleg is keeping the Shogunate infantry because he doesn't want Warehamus to take the workshop, but still that's a bit crazy. Still though, Oleg is taking the engagement here and he's gonna get routed here. So there still is a glimmer of hope for Warehamus, but I still don't see how he... Okay, he's gonna kill this US Marine, I guess, but he's not gonna get this Royal Marine unit. So yeah, Oleg gets into the Red Bears here with Saber Cav. Gonna deal with those pretty easily. But here comes Warehamus with his gen and more units. So this White Bear is going to go down. And now Warehamus is gonna start targeting this US Marine. So the US Marine is also going to die. This is a really, really close game. But again, I cannot see Oleg losing this game from this point on. He also has another Shogunate infantry that came back. And yeah, his units here will die. But... now, again, Warehamus, yeah, he has this Yarikachi, and if the Yarikachi gets in from a good angle, Warehamus might get a victory off, but this is not the angle that Warehamus wanted. Because we see this Royal Marine can fire from here, Shogunate infantry is not actually in position yet, but this Red Bear is also here, so look at these Royal Marines. The Royal Marines here are going to smash the opposition here, and yeah, Royal Marines kiting back, very good use here by Oleg. He doesn't want to get them engaged, and meanwhile he knows that the rest of his units can finish the other units of Warehamus, just making sure that he's playing as safe as possible, you know. And now this White Bear is gonna go down to combine fire from Red Bear and the general of Oleg. So Oleg's doing a nice thing here, supporting his units with his gun gen whenever possible to give him the edge in engagements. And now here we are probably going to see the general dying. There we go. General should be down, and that's going to be game. So Oleg takes a quick 2-0 lead over Warehamus in this match. And I hope we get to see the statistics screen, because it's a spectator replay. I really hope we get to see it. But we may not. We'll see. Please show me the statistics. There we go. So here we have it. Oleg didn't deploy as many by far, but he killed a lot more. Let's look at stats. Look at all these units. Wow. 308 Royal Marines. These Red Bears, Shogunate infantry. Wow. Revolver were wasted, as I pointed out in the beginning, though. Now for Warehamus, Yarikachi's again. Another vanilla one that did really well, strangely enough. But that is game 2. Now Oleg on match point. We'll see how game 3 goes. Game 3 between Oleg and Warehamus. After seeing the first 2 games, I fully believe that Oleg is just going to finish this one 3-0. But sometimes, even if you see someone starting off a match really well with 2 swift and quick victories, maybe he loses the next few games. That is definitely possible. But still, I trust in Oleg. We'll see if he can finish it off. And it is Sakura Ridge here. So Warehamus, with his composition, could definitely do much better here. Anyway, Archery Dojo and Workshop on the field. Now for Warehamus, wow, 3 Bokachis on the field. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4 Spear Levies, his usual command gun general with Yariki rank 6 and Revolver Cav. That's his entire Cav force. Then we see in the back, looks like a Yarikachi, 2 Yarikachis, and 3 Shogitais. And looks like not so many lines. I believe it's 2 Shinsengumis. And you don't need that many lines on this map, I suppose, because there's not that much possible with line of sight, I suppose. But now for Oleg's build, we see the gun gen. We actually have 2 Saber Cav on the field as well. 4 Saber Cav and no Yarikis, actually. And we have a Revolver Cav though. But here he comes downhill with Saber Cav. I suppose he wants to stop Warehamus from getting on the hill with his units. So this unit here is going to stop this Bokachi, and it's also going to engage the Shogitai and the Spear Levy here. But it's going to die. So that is not particularly cost effective, but if you think about the position that it gives Oleg, it could be really good. Now, Oleg's got more Red Bears on the field, showing a guard infantry here with suppression fire, so that can be pretty effective. This one here also with suppression fire. Suppression fire is really good against Warehamus' particular composition here, I must say. Marine here also with suppression fire destroying the Shogitai. And right now it's looking horrible for Warehamus. He's starting the engagements off and his cav is late to the fray. He's already losing the main engagement. He didn't time it correctly again. He went up front and he's going to end up dying. This Red Bear needed to be pulled back by Oleg, but he's not doing so. But I guess it doesn't really matter because he got Saber Cav into the Shinsengumis. He still has Cav on the field. He broke through in the center here. He could be going for a rear charge on the Shinsengumis, but he doesn't really need it. Could be going with Saber Cav on Shogitais here, but doesn't really need it. What I would do now as him, though, is send my Cav around here to defend the rear of my forces. But does he even need to? Because he has a Saber Cav and the Revolver here. The Revolver is facing the proper direction as well. And I believe he has this White Bear defending his rear as well. But now the problem for him is that the flanks of Warehamus are going to come in. So he has to take care of that. But here comes the Saber Cav straight into the rear of this Shinsengumi. Now this flank, you can see the Red Bear is holding on while this Red Bear is firing. And this Shogunate Guard infantry, I suppose, doesn't actually have proper line of sight here. Never mind, it does. This Red Bear is facing the rear, which is good for it, of course. And now this Shogunate Guard infantry and general here will finish off this Shogitai, maybe before it hits. It's going to be really close, though. I guess it's going to connect then. But it's in red morale, and it's lost a lot of men already, so it should rout fairly soon. There's no way it beats that Shogunate Guard infantry. Now, Warehamus did get into this Red Bear with 3 units here, but these units will die very rapidly. It's not gonna matter. Yarikachi here, just look at this infantry, the marine. One unit comes in, the infantry, the marine kills it. Then another unit comes in, and the infantry, the marine kills it. And it's gonna be the same thing again. It's gonna finish off this Shinsengumi, and then it's probably gonna kill off the Bokachi. Now Warehamus is coming in from this flank with his Revolver Cav, and this is the last thing Warehamus can do, right? But the Revolver Cav of Oleg gets much better engagements off here. Ends up destroying the Revolver Cav of Warehamus. And even though it's going to die here, quite horribly actually, after the initial good engagement, it's not going to matter because he has another Saber Cav which is going to charge in. He has some lines on the field. And yeah, look at this Marine, as I was saying. This is the 3rd unit in a row at least that it killed, and then it's going to start killing that Bokachi. Hero Infantry, the Marine there. Hero Marine, as I would like to call it. It's a player from StarCraft 2. Maybe some of you will get this, probably. Anyway, Saber Cav is finishing off the Revolver Cav, and now Warehamus doesn't have much left. He still hasn't used these units here that came back. And yeah, this infantry, the Marine, still firing down to 60 men, but being a boss still might end up finishing the Bokachi, but actually, that's gonna be close. If it was just a 1v1, it would be able to beat the Bokachi, but now it's going to get flanked by Yarikachi, so Oleg has to turn around his general. There we go, Warehamus loses his general, so this should be a chain rout on his part. Shogunate Guard infantry fires at the spear levy, so we really should be seeing a chain rout at this point. Infantry, the Marine, kiting back. This is probably the MVP unit for Oleg. The unit that got most kills. If something else got more kills, I would be very surprised. Shogunate Guard infantry here also got a lot of kills, 190 kills, very good kills on it as well. I was going to pull back with the infantry marine. He really wants to keep this unit alive, so the Yarikachi is gone. The Bokachi is gone, and that is game. So Oleg takes a 3-0 victory over Warehamus. And yeah, this definitely was an interesting match because I liked the builds of Warehamus. Definitely something different, which can potentially work, and not just only lines, which most people really bring, because only lines is super effective if you can pull it off correctly, if you can micro, if you can get the positioning right. It's definitely better than the builds Warehamus is bringing, but that's not to say that what Warehamus is bringing doesn't work, and I really like the fact that he brought those builds because it's refreshing to see something new. Anyway, statistics wise, yeah, this infantry marine, as I said, no skills for Warehamus. Shogitai is doing well. You would expect that with a rush. Your Shogitai did well, and yeah, that is the match. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on social media. See you next time.